Welcome back to the river stage. It's Mother River. It's coming from Viljandi, from Lake Võrtsjärve and going to Lake Peipsi, which is a lake between Estonia and Russia, actually. But welcome here. It's a kind of a chilly day here. We have 8 degrees outdoors, and water temperature, I just checked, it's 9.6. So it's warmer to be in water than outside, but we are here. We are on the second track of our Delta Trends Day. The topic of the track is talents of the future, how to attract, motivate, and lead them. The next talk comes from Finland, but actually it comes from Japan. The title of the talk is Citizen and Youth Engagement in the Design Process, Experiences from the Business and Public Sector. Our next speaker is Professor Anne Stenros, and she's coming from Nagaoka University of Technology, Japan. But Anne is actually Finnish. And she's today talking, I think, from Helsinki, Finland. She's the former Chief Design Officer of City of Helsinki. She's been designing the city and its services. But she has strong background also from business sector. Actually, she's a former design head of Kone Corporation, a big company, huge company, building elevators and lifts. So it's my great pleasure to invite Anne Stenros to our virtual stage. So please, Anne, the floor is yours.
Ladies and gentlemen and dear friends, actually I got a quite difficult topic to talk today, namely citizen and youth engagement in the design process. I have done it during my life, but still I don't consider myself as an expert in this field, because I think that frankly, to engage people into a professional design process, it's one of the most difficult thing, or at least quite problematic thing in our discipline. Today I'm going to talk especially about the public, with the public focus, and I think that we all share the idea that this old school participation and user-centric focus and design thinking process does not work anymore that well as we considered, let's say, some 5-10 years ago. Because today, young people, for example, they are very, very knowledgeable about all kind of social media applications, and they share their opinions and even their activism quite actively through those different channels. So they already are engaged in many ways, but how we can capture that momentum so that we can get them into the policy making or planning in a city scale. Well, there is a very famous quotation by Buckminster Fuller, architect, inventor, and futurist, when he stated that there is nothing in a caterpillar that tells you it's going to be a butterfly. And I think that this reflects not only the idea of the future as such, that we can't imagine what kind of future will appear if we see the tiny signals, but also it addresses very well the youth, the young people. Because when we see them as they are young, it's very, very difficult what kind of butterflies they are becoming later in their life. So I'm using this metaphor of caterpillar and butterfly when I'm approaching this topic, because it tells that there is this idea that we don't know everything. And that's a kind of fuzzy beginning and fuzzy end of this, how to engage youth into the design process. Well, I asked one of the most experts in Finland how to approach youth. He is Christian Wenzel, Executive Director of the Children of the Station organization. It's a national organization, and their core mission is to support the safe growth of children and youth and enable their well-being and inhibit social exclusion. And I think that when he stated to me that youth are not one group but many, so not one club for all fits at all. We should consider them seriously as individuals, more and more so with this generation. Youth also want to see the change happening rapidly. They don't have this kind of idea that if I get an idea now, a fantastic idea when I'm 16, and somebody is going to launch it when I'm 22, I'm happy. No, the reaction time must be very, very short. And also most of the youth, or at least some of the youth, they are fast-paced and their interests change constantly. So what they say that today they love to do, maybe not so much next day or week after. So we have to constantly ask them again and again what kind of change they would love to see. And if you ask them, then you must follow through. Don't promise a reward or change and then not follow through. Otherwise, they consider it a system failure. So remember that youth are many. And also, he mentioned when I asked how we can reach the young people, what is the best way to have a dialogue with them, an open dialogue, and ask their opinions. He said that, of course, social media is very good, but he preferred that we should go to meet the young people. Because he said that it gives a positive act that gives a strong message at the same time, that we really care. And the thing is that the message that they get through if you go to see them into places are that you really appreciate them, or they are appreciated. And you make a major effort when you take all that time and just go to mingle with them. And you come to listen to them. That's an important thing. And you show your genuine interest. So human to human, face-to-face dialogue is best with young people, because that shows that you really care about. It's all about interaction, responsibility, and genuine care. Now, Christian also emphasized that today the phenomena among young people, they travel with light speed around the globe, like he said, and they create a real butterfly effect everywhere in the complex system. So you better be focused on the global ideas that are emerging somewhere else than just rather looking around what is happening in your own city. And you have to also read the global solutions for these global ideas or phenomena that are emerging. And then Christian also said that usually this kind of organization, the youth organization, they are very willing to share their understanding, their knowledge, their wisdom, their solutions and processes with each other. And I think that is a lovely statement, that let's share the knowledge we have, and maybe we can do better by acting so. Now, Elina Pekarinen, who is an ombudsman for children, she stated 2 weeks ago in our TV news that they had a major questionnaire among young school children about their well-being. And the results were unfortunately devastating. We really have a well-being crisis among young people today after pandemics. And she stated that there are 3 elements of the youth well-being. And this is not a rocket science. They are very, very human 3 elements, namely Number one, the sense of safety and security. Number two, the sense of community, belonging to something. And number three, the sense of meaning of life, so that we live meaningful life. And I later also read that there was a Gutsigo testing in Estonia, supported by the Finnish colleagues, and the outcomes were very much the same like here in Finland, that there is a well-being deficit among the young on both countries. And I think that we should work closely together to improve the situation in the future. So what one can do then? I think that this idea that comes from Ed Catmull, the CEO of Pixar movie company, when he says that the hallmark of a healthy creative culture is that its people feel free to share ideas, opinions, and criticism. So this is the nucleus of the creative culture. In the same way, we can consider that the hallmark of any culture, healthy culture, in any organization, let's say in city organization, is that its people feel free to share ideas, opinions, and criticism. And that is the power of engagement. The more we engage youth, the less they feel excluded. And the stronger a sense of community they have, the stronger the feeling of belonging and safety. So if we can create that kind of common culture where the youth also have a room for share their ideas, feel free to share their ideas, their opinions and criticism, we are already on the way to improve their well-being in many ways. But how to build this kind of fostering culture then? Well, I recently found a very good book, namely How to Future by Scott Smith and Madeline Ashby. And the process is quite simple when in the end of the book they are considering how to create this future forward-looking culture to any kind of organization, basically. They say that you should expose all the people among that organization to small practices of tutoring on an ongoing basis. So not only, let's say, every third year or every fifth year doing kind of strategy action, no, but ongoing basis, step by step, following what's happening and what kind of things are emerging. Then impacting future strategy, innovation, that kind of policy discussions. That's also important, taking part into that discussions. And of course, seedling agility, open mindset, and learning so that people are willing to have the change and they are willing to face the future and transformation. And also driving conversations and framing provocation even. This is quite close to this kind of idea of youth activism that we have seen in many places during the past years. And then projecting long-term vision alongside short-term missions. And this is especially important when we consider young people and their time span that is shorter than the elderly people, for example. And then do the public engagement as much as you can. Now, I did a small workshop some time ago together with young school children that were actually participating to Espoo School of Art. And the workshop was supposed to be from young people between 11 and 16 years old. And that was the most difficult future foresight lecture that I ever prepared because I thought that I can't give them too pessimistic overview of the future because I want to give them tools so that they feel empowered, that they have something to say what happens in the future. And on the other hand, I couldn't sort of neglect all these crises that we are living through, the climate crisis, the social crisis, you name just a few of them. And the task after my presentation and some small actions and discussions, the task were to create the front page for the local newspaper 10 years from now on. And the results, they were extraordinary and lovely, what they talked about. But this is just an example to show how you can expose these young people to practice futuring in an ongoing basis. It's not a rocket science really, but it's small actions and give them the idea that they can have their say what is coming in the future. But we should take it also to the next step or to the next level, so to speak. And here I'm emphasizing the idea that we should move from this traditional idea of co-creation to the idea of co-production. That is the future in my mind. And it means that we have to create the kind of conditions so that we can engage youth through action and knowledge-based co-production, even for new policies and visions of the city in the future. There are a few steps to follow. This is a very nice guidebook from 2020 by a group of people or experts who created the book especially for how to cultivate vegetables and all greeneries within the city. But it can be applied in the wider scale in my mind. But the steps are namely that you should create together with the actors also the goals and the vision in the end. Not just consult or inform them, but get them involved from the very beginning so that they have really the role in making of plans, infrastructure, and the policy in the end. So here are the few steps just to highlight how this co-production approach might happen. Number one is that you define the goals together with the actors. And then you use the design principles to flesh out the goals and the structure for the whole process. And you plan the co-production and the steps and the activities together with participants. And then you select the co-production tools that are most enabling for them. And then in the end, you reflect the co-production process and results, because this is a kind of endless loop, so that you all the time you learn more while you do it, so that you can improve the thing in the next time. But the thing is that when you start this kind of process, it's also like a caterpillar and butterfly. You don't know what comes in the end, because it's really a co-production method. And I think that this is much more complicated, but much more rewarding than the old-fashioned design thinking process, where you empathize, then you do ideas, and then you focus a little bit, and then you test and get the feedback. This is much more complicated, because you also have to teach and train the participants so that they can participate in that deep level of co-production. However, as I said, that this is just the first steps on that road. And I think that we all have to have a big learning curve, how to take not only young people, but of course other people also into consideration when we start to do this co-production in different levels, let's say in cities. And I want to highlight in the end that how to make a city a place of opportunities for each and everyone, young and old. I think that is the kind of question that we has to answer in the future. And like Franklin Roosevelt beautifully has put it, that we cannot always build a future for our youth, but we can always build our youth for the future. So I highly, highly emphasize that we have to get the young people into this process of co-production of our cities, because the young people, they are the future of the cities. Thank you.
Thank you, Anne, for this great speech and hints how to engage citizens and youth to the design process. We have got few questions as well in our workshop. First is, could you share some of the tips that works the best in attracting not very active youth? So if youth passive, how to attract them to the design process or innovation?
Well, that's the very, very tough question. Thank you, Ott, putting me into a hard position. Because what I tried to ask from Christian Wenzel was also that how we can get more and more young people involved. And he said that there are limitations. Namely, he was talking about the Finnish situation. For example, that we have quite long distances in Finland, if we don't consider Helsinki area, but in other parts of the country. So how to get these young people together, let's say, to one spot to have a discussion, that's one thing. And then he has emphasized also several times these harsh climate conditions, in terms that because we are living in the northern hemisphere, so we have, let's say, 6 months period of good weather, and usually the winter time is very long and dark and cold. And during that time, there are not too many activities or places for young either to see each other, to meet and mingle and co-create. So it's a complex issue, and there is no one answer. But I think, in my mind, the more we do this kind of actions, and the more we get young people engaged, they spread the word around by themselves. So in my mind, if we take the baby steps, it will grow little by little like a snowball effect, hopefully, and reach finally also those ones who don't have such a voice. But then, like I said, in this kind of co-production process, the key is how we can enable these people who are not professionals to be sort of in the same level, to have a dialogue with experts. So we have to train these young to participate and get into this co-production.
And I think you also said well in your speech that, I mean, to make kind of self-environments for these people, and they're really willing to open. And our last question, we're running over time here, but one question more. There is a Swedish philosophist, Alexander Bard. He's also a musician, Army of Lovers, a singer, etc. And he has once said that if you want to see where the future is going, look what Finnish and South Korean school children, especially schoolgirls, are doing. You have been living now in Finland and in Japan, in Asia. Are there any differences between youth in Finland, let's say, or in Japan, in South Korea, in other countries in Asia? Of course, people's density is higher, but the distances are less huge because of that, but in other terms.
Well, I put it this way, based on my experience while I was working at Kone, and we started to create the different kind of elevator interiors, colors, materials to different continents. And I said to my team when we started that now first we have to deep dive into different cultures a little bit. Because when we can define the culture core and how thick that layer is in each different places, then on the top of that we had the layer of trends. And it appeared that the further we went to Asia, let's say when we were in India, the cultural core of the whole 100% was something like, let's say, 75, even 80%. And the trend layer was very, very thin. Unlike in Europe, it was vice versa. The cultural core was, let's say, 40% only, and then the trend layer was very thick. So it depends on where you are in the globe, where your location is, whether the culture is the stronger element or the trends that are traveling with light speed around. So there is no one way to say it, but I have the idea that still our young people, they are very much driven by their own home country culture.
Okay, thanks a lot, Anne, for joining us here at Delta Trends Day 2021. And we will now go give the floor to the Delta Stage inside. The floor is yours, Kadri.